All right. Audience, be quiet, please. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Music Media Club. We're doing another album recommendations video, and today we have Bree, who recommended Ivory by Omar Apollo. Everyone, give it up for Bree. All right. Hello, Bree. How are you doing today?
Good.
Good. All right. So just to get things started, quick summary of the album. Why'd you recommend it?
Because I think it's a very musically diverse album. It includes like a lot of like R&B, indie pop, and then sort of Latin trap music, I think. And then that's my favorite song.
Sure.
My favorite song on the album is Invincible because it features Daniel Caesar, and I think they work really well together.
Okay. Yeah, this is my first endeavor into Omar Apollo's music. I've heard him on features, I think, with Daniel Caesar. I'm a pretty big Daniel Caesar fan myself, but this is my first full album experience with Omar Apollo, and I will say I didn't enjoy everything on the album, but there were a couple of songs, and I'll get into those once we dive into some of the deeper questions. But second question I have for you, he's very vocally versatile. Like, he does singing, he does rapping, he does all sorts of different usage of his voice. What is your favorite use of his voice in this album?
I think it would have to be the high falsetto because it kind of gives his music like that indie feel to it, and
Okay.
it makes him sound very similar to Labyrinth, if you've heard of that.
I've heard of Labyrinth. I don't know if I've heard their music before.
Yeah, but like they just like if you put their songs like side by side, they basically sound the same.
Okay.
I don't think that Omar should rap anymore.
I agree.
Rapping is for him.
I didn't like. Tamagotchi. I love the beat. And it's Pharrell production. Why didn't that beat go to an actual rapper?
Yeah, I don't.
I was so pissed because I was like, that the beat is great, but yeah, he should stop rapping. I did like the little rap verse he had on Invincible with Daniel Caesar, though. I thought in melodic rapping he fits in that a little.
Just
bit
like
more.
a whole song.
A whole song, no,
No,
not so much.
It's not for him.
Yeah. All right. Third question. What does Omar Apollo provide for you that other artists in his lane, like a Daniel Caesar or Labyrinth, I guess you compared him to them, what does he provide that those other artists don't have or don't do as well?
Yeah, well, now that you said like compared to Daniel Caesar, I kind of want to change my answer. But I would say like it's like his lyrics and the way he sings them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like his lyrics like make a lot of sense with the tone in which he's singing them. Like,
Okay.
and have you heard Evergreen?
Yeah.
Like Evergreen, the way he sings his lyrics gives the song a bigger impact.
Okay, so you like the delivery of how he sings and stuff. Okay. For me, I feel like this, as an album experience, it wasn't my favorite just because in the first, beginning part, I know you said, lyrically, it's emphasized via his delivery, but I think when you're just looking at it off the page, the lyrics don't really jump out to me that much. So, the first few songs in the track list, kind of felt a little bit like filler to me, but also, good ideas that weren't fully fleshed out. Including a Tamagotchi or something like that, where I know I just keep hating on that song, but I'm blanking on some of the other titles of the track list. But mainly in the beginning half, and it wasn't until and this album, although he's not a rapper, solely a rapper, it kind of came off like a mixtape because he was bouncing around from different types of genres a lot, and I feel like if there's an Omar Apollo album and I think this coincides with my fourth question, that exists out there where he just kind of is honed in on one style and he really boils it down to its finest details, I think I would like that a lot more in an album experience. This just feels like a bunch of hodgepodge. I'm gonna try a little bit of this, try a little bit of that.
And I think this is the first his prior two albums. I don't think he stuck to one style during the entire album, but this one he just bounced back and forth, and it felt off style for him.
Yeah, I just don't I don't understand how you can have an album where you have a song like Invincible, and then on the same album you have a Petrified, for example. That's a heart-wrenching ballad, and then Invincible is a smooth little R&B cut, and then he has a weird rap verse in the middle of it. More or less and then he also has, which I think I would keep on the album, the one where he just sings in Spanish. Mm-hmm. I like that. I don't know what the lyrics are saying, but I'm sure it's stays on topic with pretty much everything else that he's talking about. But last and final question, and I think I kind of touched on this a little bit. Like I said, there's a lot of variety on this album, but I think like I said, I prefer him in a more honed-in space. If you are familiar with the rest of his catalog, what album or project would you recommend that maybe scratches that itch where he is more kind of dialed in on one specific style?
I wouldn't say it's like an album, like per se. Like I think it's just like every project he's done with like Daniel Caesar. I just like how he fits into Daniel Caesar songs, like as like a melody or something.
Okay.
His voice like makes sense in that situation. And I think that's like the type of music that he should hone in on, more of that like
Alternative R&B sort of a deal.
Yeah.
He had a feature on Daniel Caesar's album Never Enough. I'm pretty sure. I forget what song it was
Is
though.
it Buyer's? I think it was Buyer's Remorse. Or is that not?
Yeah, it is Buyer's Remorse. Yeah, I forget what that song sounds like, to be honest, but.
Oh, I listened to it this morning.
Oh, but yeah, I could see the alternative R&B route being more up Omar Apollo's alley. So yeah, that's all I have for questions. And Music Media Club, it's time to give our rating on Ivory by Omar Apollo. Don't forget it because it's right on this whiteboard when I ask you, so say it correctly. We gave Ivory by Omar Apollo a 7.1. All right, thank you, Bree, and let's move on to the next album. The next album that was recommended was In Rainbows, and the person sitting on my left will be Lily. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Lily. How are you doing on this fine morning?
Fine.
Fine? That's okay. Yep. Well, we'll hope to do better. So, get things started. You recommend In Rainbows by Radiohead. This came out in 2009, right? Sure. And then just give us a quick summary of the album.
I said it's definitely a complex album. It portrays a lot of feelings and topics. It explores themes of love, life, and mortality. He expresses a sense of losing control through lyrics and diverse soundscape, creating a melancholic yet beautiful atmosphere. It expresses Tom York's battle through mortality and losing control of his life.
Good job, Chat GPT. No, I'm just kidding.
I did not chat GPT.
I'm joking.
That was weird.
All right. Moving on. Radiohead's catalog is always a big like topic of conversation in the music world. They have a highly what am I looking for? Highly acclaimed catalog. With OK Computer is kind of like the basic right answer for their best album. Kid A is like this cult classic sort of album that like a certain sect of radio fans kind of latch onto. Where would this album for you fall in terms of their catalog?
I'd call it the best. I have no skips.
No skips. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like a pretty surface level Radiohead listener. I've listened to OK Computer once. Wasn't my favorite. I wasn't a huge fan of Tom York's voice on first listen, but then I listened to Kid A and the more like distorted Aphex Twin-ish kind of production style made me appreciate his vocals a little bit more. I think it fit well on that type of electronic soundscape, and so I grew to like it a little bit more. I'll have to go back to OK Computer to see if I appreciate it a little bit more. And then I listened to this one, and I wouldn't say that there's no skips on it, but it is a pretty flawless album. There is just some like songs structurally that don't work a whole lot for me, specifically like Weird Fishes. I know that's like the big hit off this album, but I don't know. First of all, that song is kind of confusing. I don't really know what it's about, and I think that's. Okay, well, sorry, I'm not deep into it yet. I have listened to this album
Just look it up. I looked it up earlier, and I saw somebody have this whole thing describing each word or each song in a whole paragraph.
Okay, well.
Just look it up.
I like figuring out the stuff on my own. I like making up my own interpretation for the lyrics, and if I struggle even four ways through the song, then I still continue to be confused. So yeah, I think that this might be better than Kid A, but I think Kid A is still my favorite. So that's where I fall in terms of the Radiohead catalog. Third question. So I think this is gonna be an album that I have to live with a lot to like have it fully grow on me and fully understand like what the concept is in its entirety. Like I think I can pinpoint like certain songs evoke certain like ideas, and like you were talking about in your summary, mortality, all that fun stuff. How much time have you spent with this album, and what was it like growing with it? Any specific songs that kind of like stayed with you, or maybe have fallen off I know you said it's flawless, but just like where did this album growing process go with you?
Well, I grew up listening to Radiohead with like my dad and my mom and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of heard a lot of the songs, but I've more recently started like listening through the whole albums
Mm-hmm.
and like having specific songs. I've gotten more of an understanding kind of the music as I've grown up. I spent a lot of time with it. It was my second top album. Spotify Wrapped this year.
That's good. I think me like venturing to music, I like rarely ever listen to anything that I started listening to now. I've kind of matured in that aspect, so it's good that you like got into something that you liked immediately and were able to stick with it when listening to music. I think that's rare to find. Fourth question: if you could pick 3 emotions to describe this album, what would they be?
I picked 2.
All right.
And 2 of them Emily gave me because I was really confused on it, and I'm not good at that stuff. But
I just like re-rolled it.
yeah,
Okay.
one we said was yearning, like unrequited love, which is kind of explored in All I Need.
Yeah.
And then sadness. And then
Okay.
that's kind of
Yeah.
what I think is the album. I said that
She
just
said
now.
that.
Or like desperation.
No, yeah, I definitely get like a yearning vibe from this album.
Yeah.
It just and isn't this is this like a fictional story? Did Tom York actually go through like a breakup or something? Or is it just the concept of the album?
I don't know.
Okay, well I was just wondering if you did know. You don't have to.
I don't look like a biography of Tom York's religion.
No, it's fine. I was just curious because I think I did look it up, but I think I saw like some blurb on Reddit. It was like it's just a concept album.
Yeah.
So I don't think don't associate the art with the artist's lives, personal lives. It's a lesson that everyone should learn. This album feels. All right, next question. This album feels very cinematic. What movie or TV series would you want this album to be the soundtrack for?
I don't know.
That is not a stupid question. I think that's a fun question. Because this wasn't like a soundtrack for anything, but I think
13. Yes.
13.
No.
No, I'm not a movie buff. I listen to music.
Oh my god.
I'm sure songs off this album were in movies before, but I'm saying the whole project. If there was a movie out there, it may not even work.
I don't know. Some like indie film, I guess. I don't have a
Indie
specific
film?
one in mind.
Are you just not like big on movies?
I watch movies. I just don't really remember them very well.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty much the same way. I'm the same way with music. I don't remember a whole lot of music, even though I like claim to like it a lot. For me, I would definitely have. I think the SpongeBob movie would fit this album so well because of all the weird fishes. I'm so funny because of all the weird fishes. It's a SpongeBob movie. Thank you.
Nice one. Nice one.
All right. What do you mean that's kind of sad?
That was not a good joke.
It was a good joke. Okay. Cool. All right, moving on to the rating of the album. Music Media Club, what do we give In Rainbows by Radiohead? 9.2. Thank you, Lily. All right, guys, we're moving on to the next album. Everybody, actually, don't give her an applause because she already had it. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody, welcome back, Chia.
We didn't rate it yet.
Didn't rate it? Oh yeah, I forgot about that, but it's fine. All right. You recommended Caprisongs by FKA Twigs. Give us a quick summary. This is actually a mixtape. Give us a quick summary of it.
Right,
Your
right.
thoughts?
It came out in 2022. It has elements of pop, R&B, and dance hall, and talks about self-discovery, confidence, freedom, and individuality. She's very individual.
Very individualistic.
Bro, have you not seen her? She's insane.
She's insane.
Yeah.
I think she's artistic.
Same difference.
FKA Twigs seems to be in a much freer space in this project. Which elements of this album do you think best emphasize that freedom?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really know what you meant by elements. But
What songs?
the last song, Thank You song.
That's like my least favorite song.
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
she talks about how open her heart is, and she's okay to talk about things now. And it sounds like kind of corny, but like I feel like the instrumentals make you just feel like free and light.
Yeah, I've listened to Magdalene by FKA Twigs. I listened to it all the way through at least once, and I think that album is like highly regarded as like one of the best like glitch pop albums of like, at least in the internet age, where people are like on for like a bunch of different internet sites talking about music and stuff. That album got really high praise, and I could see why, but I think it wasn't my favorite through first listen. I did pick out a few tracks that were some of my favorite, but it definitely felt more of like a sprawling, like conceptual sort of idea. This one feels like she's just like, I'm gonna make bangers sort of idea.
Right.
And it's a lot less like artsy production, rather more just like classic loops and my favorite thing about this album is that she was able to like incorporate the Twig-isms, if you will, with like, because it's not off to the left, because it is more like stuff that you would hear in the mainstream, but she would distort like a drum sound really loud, where in like a super mega hit pop song it would just be like super clean, super compressed. This has like a little bit more elements to it that make it like more interesting as far as the production level goes. Third question.
Right.
What was your favorite feature on the mixtape?
Rema, because he's Nigerian and I'm Nigerian, and he kind of has to be my favorite.
Okay.
And he makes Afrobeat, so I'm like already familiar with his music, and I like Daniel Caesar, but because it's Daniel Caesar.
Yeah, I think my favorite was probably Daniel Caesar as well. I like the vocal, like they're like vocal chords, but they're like baked into like a synth sound. The whole chord progression I think is like very like sleepy and like kind of, but it's like also like relieving, if that makes sense. I like that song a lot. I also thought, I'm blanking on his name right now, who was the feature on Honda? Because I'm not a huge fan of drill in general, let alone.
I was literally listening to that this morning and I can't remember.
It's Paz Saliu. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Yeah, some UK name, or I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of drill in general, in like New York, Chicago, or UK drill. I don't really like mess with that scene a whole lot. It's just not my taste, but I think I enjoyed more the drill songs on here than I did other areas of drill. I think, wasn't Jealousy more of a drill song with Rema? Yeah, I don't think I like that one as much, but I like Honda a lot. I think my least favorite feature would probably be The Weeknd, honestly. I didn't like that song that much.
The Weeknd is not easy in every, like,
Okay.
I don't really like The Weeknd, I'm not gonna lie.
I love Dawn FM. I'm not too deep in his catalog though, so. Anyway, moving on, fourth and final question. With the versatility of FKA Twigs, what do you think her direction will be on her next album? It is already out. Have you listened to it?
I have not.
Okay.
My friend was telling me to listen to it, but before it came out, like I had written this, I thought she was gonna be like a more like Caribbean inspired album, because she has so many like dancehall and Caribbean inspired elements on like this one, and I just thought that would be really cool, like in Pappy Bones, that song.
Yeah, I love her chemistry with Shy Girl on that song
Yeah.
as well. That's a good jam.
So yeah, I thought she would make like Caribbean music, like I don't know how to pronounce her name, Shensi. Yeah, you probably don't know her. She's underground and different.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I thought she would make like Caribbean music.
Okay, I can tell you this much. I've listened to the album. It is definitely not Caribbean music. It's. I would say it's honestly like an elevated album of like Magdalene. I think there's highs and lows with both of them. But I don't even want to say elevated. I feel like they're pretty much on the same level. But there was a lot of good tracks on her new album that came out, and kind of doing the more like off to the left production for the pop scene at least. But yeah, all right. Moving on to the rating. Everyone, what do we give Caprisongs by FKA Twigs? 7.9. Thank you, Chia.
Welcome.
Well, they decide to talk when we're actually doing the interview, so that's their strategic maneuver. All right. Bree! I can't read my own writing. It's typed on a phone.
Bro, I do not want to sing.
What?
I do not want to sing.
Don't spoil the surprise.